Restraints save lives is the opposite of the information that we have in the literature and in research. Restraints actually hasten someone's demise.
It's something that's foreign, it's something that creates distress, and we were really committed to seeing what we could do to make that distress and upset a thing of the past.
I think way back we were inspired to become restraint-free, and Beatitudes is the perfect place because they already had an empowered staff. You have to click somehow that there's another way to take care of people.
We started by assessing immediately on admission, assessing after every fall, looking at what precipitated the action, what behaviors were going on, what were the person's needs.
I think the most important strategy is to say, this is where we're going to get to, and we're going to treat each patient entirely differently.
We needed to look at an overall comprehensive plan for the whole facility, and we needed to look at all of our people individually to see exactly what their routines were and what would be most helpful for them.
Use every possible intervention, from food to strengthening their muscles to things on the floor to everything, to try to figure out a plan for that particular patient.
Try again. If something doesn't work, look for another approach, and don't give up.
To reduce restraints, you really need everybody to take part in it. Involve your entire staff. Inspire your entire staff, from the cook to the aide to the frontline nurse to the social worker, everybody. Don't just walk in as managers and say, this is what we're going to do.
We involved nursing assistants and housekeepers and social workers and activities staff. We had maintenance greatly involved because they were helping us to adapt equipment, beds, furniture, and to actually remove devices that we had attached to the beds.
There were staff members who were not sure this was a really good thing. But there were a lot of staff members who understood that it was the only way that we could go. And so we spent a good amount of time getting people on the same page.
What doesn't work in reducing restraints is a cookie cutter. We're going to get rid of all waist restraints without preparing the patient, without trying to get them stronger first, without having a staff having a plan for when they start to get up. So there's no easy, quick way to do this. It takes the entire team.
Anyone can remove a restraint. What it takes is dedication to making sure that the individual is comfort, because comfortable people aren't going to fall. You know, becoming restraint-free was a journey. It didn't happen overnight. One of the misconceptions is that when you take a restraint away, you don't have to add anything. And that's really erroneous. You have to add something. You have to replace the removal of the restraint with a kind of care and consideration for that individual's safety. And when we do that, then we'll be successful in both the person's comfort, because we're not using a restraint, and in minimizing the likelihood that they're going to fall. As we removed more and more restraints, we thought that we would spend a good amount of time watching everyone for fear that everyone was going to fall. And indeed, that was not the case.
Questions that we asked early on when we were first exploring removing restraints, we need to ask today when someone falls. We need to look at all of the circumstances surrounding that fall and what we can do to keep the person as mobile as possible and as comfortable as possible.
Anticipating the needs of someone really means that if they need to go to the restroom, let's take them on demand. If they need to lie down, let's help them do that. If they're bored, let's help them become engaged in something that will be meaningful. And if we do these things, then the individual will no longer require some kind of a restraining device. Instead, they'll be fully engaged with life, and they'll be comfortable and have enjoyment and success.
So it is something that we have to keep doing, it's never done. And every resident presents with something different.
Obviously, patients' strength and activity improves. Staff interact much better with patients. Families can interact better. It's a real environment. It's like your living room. It's not like a medical place where people have to be treated differently.
There is a camaraderie. There is a sense of we were able to do the best for your loved one. There is the feeling that we've made a difference.
For our staff, I think there's a great deal of pride in being restraint-free and really understanding what people need and being able to give it to them day in and day out, many times for years, to making sure that the person is comfortable enough that they don't require restraint and they're safe.
There is the feeling that we've made a difference. We're able to give quality of life to the people in our care.